up the allotment today. It's one of those amazing days. It's a beautiful blue sky, but actually we've got sort of a cloud inversion. I try and cut to a picture now which I took, or some video that I took on the drive up here, and you can just see how the cloud is hanging in the valleys near us. It's just beautiful this time of year when this happens, but it's quite unusual for this time of year as well, because I think it's normally later on in the season, more like autumn. But I went down to the polytunnel this morning and it was about, I think, 10 degrees in the polytunnel overnight, so that means probably a bit colder out here. So it just shows you that there's dew everywhere. So we're having a really challenging season, aren't we, this year? What with the slugs and the snails and the cold damp weather at the beginning of the year, it's a real challenge, it seems. Anyway, long story short, I'm up at the allotment. I've just come to check things out and take some fleece off and plant some lovely lavender that I got. You know, you can buy those sort of little strips of plants. Well, I bought some earlier in the year and potted them up, and they're doing quite nice. They're about half the size of this when I got them. But yeah, so I'm going to get them in the ground along the edge of the flower bed here. That's the idea anyway. It's looking rather nice here at the moment. But yeah, just also want to have a quick look around the allotment, see what we've got. It looks like we actually might have some courgettes. I can't believe it. I didn't think we were going to get any. Anyway, so yeah, looks like the slugs had one of them. So we'll have a quick look around the allotment, and then I want to pop back home, check out the polytunnel greenhouse, because we've got some of the heirloom tomatoes which are ripe and ready to harvest. And I want to show you them because some of them just look really beautiful. Right, okay, let's go and open up the shed, and then yeah, have a quick look around the allotment. Right, let's start at the top of the allotment, shall we, and see what we've got going on. These are the cauliflowers, and they're all looking really lovely in here. I really like this netting actually. This is scaffold netting, if you haven't heard me mention that before. It's really good. It's UV protected, as it were, but it's also very, very fine mesh. I don't know if it's picking it up in the camera, but yeah, so it's really good for keeping the caterpillars out. But yeah, they're all looking lovely in there. Let's have a look around here. Runner beans are doing lovely, and the peas, and I've got quite a few radishes to harvest by the looks of it. But yeah, look at the runner beans, lots of flowers coming this year, which is nice to see. So in previous years we've had quite a bit of wind, and so they've been really scorched. I suppose that might still happen, but I sort of said I wouldn't grow runner beans up here again, but I think they're doing all right at the moment. Right, the cabbages, we've got a couple of types of cabbages here, again behind this netting, and they're all looking fantastic in there, really healthy at the moment. Red ones at this end, and then over here, which is one of the jobs I've got to do, I want to take this this fleece off. It's done its job, I think, of hardening off the crown prince squash, and hopefully they haven't all been slugged to death, which they look like they haven't, so that's all great. So yeah, these are the leek flowers. Look, aren't they looking splendid? Yeah, amazing. Really pleased with them. Yeah, some more squash. Looks like they're doing okay now. They've recovered. But look at these French beans. This is outrageous. I've never had this. But I want to show you the ones down the bottom actually. I think this sort of proves, you know, why this netting can really help on your allotment if you haven't sort of used it before. It's worth putting hoops up and netting over some of your crops to help keep the creatures off, and I think it also helps keep the slugs off too. I'll go down and show you. We'll work our way down there and I'll show you. Sweet corn, yeah, look at this. This is all looking splendid. Look, the tassels are coming out. A little sweet corn are beginning to form, so they're all looking good. Yeah, I am wondering what they're actually, you know, these sort of ripen too quickly and basically shed all their pollen. We haven't really got any corn yet, but fingers crossed. Lettuces I planted, if I can get you under here. So the lettuces looking like they've survived. So again, I think this netting, because it's so fine, helps keep major of the slugs off. But yeah, we've got beetroot coming in there, and then chard up the end, which I need to get some for harvest. Right, we'll just put that back there. Right, and then other things that we've got coming on. Onions, look at these. These are from sets, and they're doing okay. They're looking really nice. Beginning to swell. They're still firm and not collapsing yet, so they're not ready to harvest. As soon as the leaves sort of flop over or get a bit, you know, yellow and so on, and then there'll be time to harvest. But these aren't ready yet. Leeks, they're looking good. These broad beans, these are a heritage variety, a dwarf heritage variety, and I had so few that I decided actually to save them as seeds, so I didn't harvest any of these to eat. So these are all for seeds. I pruned the globe artichoke back just because once they've flowered, some of them sort of die off and so on. So I've only got this one coming through here and this poor little one on its own. So I'm really hoping, oh yeah, we've got 2 shoots coming here. Oh yeah, and some more around there. So I think they'll come back to life. But right, courgettes. So looking a bit more promising. Just little ones. It looks like this is a little variety. But it looks like the end of that's got slugged. So let's have that off. Chop the end off. That'll be all right. But yeah, it's a lovely colour, isn't it? Right. So we'll put that down here for later. And then finally, yeah, this is what I mean about the netting and how it really helps keep creatures off, as well as the slugs, because it's so fine. You see these in here, these French beans, they're all doing really well. Look in there, not being nibbled at all. Let me take you under here just in case it's not showing you. So that's one reason I like to use this netting. Really, really good at keeping the critters off. And I've got some more spikes actually, and some more of the pipe. So I'm going to come up here, I think perhaps later on today, and get that bed netted. Anyway, right, let's get the lavender in this bed, shall we? Right, just put those down there and open up the shed. Let's get the broom and sweep these up. Right, you can see little dastardly things. They go through and looking for bugs, I think, but they also pull out all the labels as well. They're really quite humorous. Anyway, I've sort of sort all this out, and then yeah, we can get on and plant these lavender. Actually, before we do that, I've just noticed how the sun's sort of changed position. So just have a look at these Bonariensis. Aren't they looking gorgeous? Really beautiful. And then we've got some gladiola at the back. I'm going to pick some of these to take home because they're looking really nice at the moment. But yeah, flower bed's doing its job. And also the dahlias are coming up, which is really nice. They get really nibbled at the beginning of the year, but then somehow they seem to power through, and then they all seem to come up. And the poppies still, they're all doing nicely. Yeah. Looking good. Anyway, I think the lavender, what I want to do is dot the lavender along the front of this bed. So let's just give this a sweep up. Right, I'm going to put this back in the shed. I don't know if you can see behind me the hills there. They're just beginning to show, and the mist is just beginning to clear. It's looking beautiful at the moment, but you can just sort of begin to see the landscape, which is really nice. Anyway, lavender, if you haven't grown it before, it's like a English garden staple, isn't it? You know, lots of people love to grow lavender. It's these lovely blue flower stems, you know, in the summer, really good for attracting the bees and things. So I think this is like an Old English. It could be a Munstead or a Hidcote. I'm not quite sure. I haven't kept the label, more for me. But anyway, they like really sunny positions. They don't like to get their feet bogged in water. You don't want to get them waterlogged, as they'll just rot off and die. But yeah, along the front of this bed here, I'm hoping they'll do really well because there's going to get plenty of sun. Yeah, and the soil's really free draining up here, so I'm hoping these do really well. Right, let's prune back some of these old plants and get these in the ground. So just digging a hole nice and deep. Right, let's get this out of here. Give it a gentle squeeze to loosen it up a bit. Really like this one. This is probably one of the better ones, isn't it? It's really a good quality looking plant, that is. Right, let's just drop this out. And you can see how the roots, even though this is a really deep pot, how deep they have gone. They're right at the bottom here. So yeah, I like to get the roots down, it seems. Put that in there. Soil around the edges, push it down as you go. Fill in, firm it in. And make sure you haven't got too much soil up around the actual stem of the plant. There we go. Lovely. Right, I think that's going to be really happy there in its new home. Yeah, they've got plenty of room, and they have plenty of room to spread out, as it were. And I'm going to put things in the middle anyway this year, just to fill up the gaps. But I think by next year, these will absolutely be romping away, and I'll have nothing to worry about at all. Anyway, right, let's go up, sort this fleece out now, because I'm a bit concerned that these have been under here rather too long, these Crown Prince squash. Yeah, it's all looking rather positive. They're all bursting forth by the looks of it, but I just want to get this off, just have a quick look underneath, just to see how they are. Yeah, lovely. Look at that, perfect. Anyway, I'll just get all this removed, and then hopefully I'm gonna have to hang it up to dry. Actually, so much dew, it's soaking wet. Yeah, look at that, perfect little plants under here. Really good stuff, this fleece. Yeah, I had to remove it now though, I think, because they're beginning to probably get a bit held back by it. But yeah, looking healthy enough at the moment. It's the only thing, it does get rather damp, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I haven't got a drying line or anything to dry it, so anyway, we'll just do it for the moment while we're up here. I'll just hang it over here. Hopefully the sun will dry it out by the time we go. Really pleased with these. There's plenty of new growth coming, and they're all looking really healthy, but whether they can produce squash in time, I'm not sure. As I mentioned in an earlier video, they probably should have gone in a while back, but you know, we ought to give it a try, see what happens, haven't you? Anyway, that's all that done. I'll have to come up and weed a little bit later. They seem to seem to get it all the time, don't they? Get in there when you're least expecting it, the little blighters. Anyway, right, I'm still really pleased with these runner beans, actually. Don't think I've ever had so many flowers on them. It's quite extraordinary. But as I said, I think in a previous video, that these runner beans are actually sort of the perennial. They're sort of second year. They overwintered in the ground and they came back up. So yeah, that's obviously brought them back up as a stronger plant. Look, we've got little runners coming already. So yeah, I think not long and those will be really big in the ground. These are a rainbow mixed radish, so there's a variety of colours here. So we've got some white and some regular coloured ones, sort of yellowy colours. You see, this netting is much bigger. This is like a bird-proof netting, which they use for fruit and veg cages and things like that. It's really not much good for keeping the slugs and snails out and anything that wants to peck through them. So that's all I had at the time, but yeah. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? Gorgeous radish. Right, I want to get some of these greens now, just so I can take home. Making a lot of smoothies at the moment, which is really nice. I don't know if you've ever made, not smoothies, juices. Got a juicer. Putting all sorts of things in there, carrots, cucumber, celery, pear, apple, lime, ginger, and plenty of greens. So that's really why I've been growing all these greens this year. I've got some more going to seed, but let's have some of these leaves out and see what they look like. Just lift these off here and slide it up. Amazing. It's as I say, a really good thing about this this netting is it really does keep things in great condition. Anyway, I've got some everlasting spinach here, so we'll have some of that. You can see this really lovely healthy green leaves. So I'll have some of that. Just break them off. When making the juice, I use the whole thing, you know, the stem and the leaf. Don't make any difference really. And then we've also got some of this lovely pink peppermint chard. Look at the colouring on that. Don't know if it's really picking it up, but yeah, extraordinary. Again, the whole thing goes into the juice. Makes it really good and healthy. that's enough, I think. Enough for the juice today. Okay, let's head back up to the polytunnel and yeah, and go and check out these tomatoes. Right, back home now, and yeah, look at these. These are the sweet peas and the butternut squash. They're all doing well in these tubs. But I moved, you know, I said in the previous video that I wasn't happy really with the tomatoes, these hanging baskets being indoors. Well, anyway, I moved them outside last night and they're hanging off here. I think they'll be all right. Keep them well watered, they should be okay. Anyway, let's have a look in the polytunnel. Put that down. Yeah, it's looking like a bit of a jungle in here at the moment. It's looking quite amazing. Beautiful. I've got the squash coming up here, these butternut squash. I'm going to trim this vine actually because I think it's basically just too long, and the female flowers aren't coming any further along this vine, so I'm going to hack it back and see if it makes it sprout further down. Anyway, I wanted to get this aubergine outside. In the sun. Hopefully that'll prefer it out there because they're not throwing many flowers at the moment. Anyway, right, let's go ahead and have a look at these tomatoes. So we wiggle down here. Look at this. These are the Rebel Starfighter Prime. They're coming along nicely. We've got the Jack Off-White. This one's doing very well. I wanted to just pick that one. I think it'll come off. There we go. It's sort of a yellowish colour. Quite nice. Interesting tomato. Put that one in the basket. And another one which is coming along nicely. This is Kaleidoscopic Jewel. Look at the colours on that. It's not quite ripe yet, but it's getting there. So that's probably a few days away. Ozark Sunrise over the back here. Look at the lovely pinkish colours on that. So that's nearly ready. This one is a new one for me and I'm really excited about this. This is Tiger. So yeah, that one looks very interesting. So we shall have that one in a few days time too. It's all exciting times. And then down here we've got the amazing coloured Sartrelois. Look at these, this sort of purpley greens. Aren't they gorgeous? Amazing. Not quite ready yet. And then at the back over there we've got some Alice's Dream, so I might harvest a couple of them now. Right, okay, I'll harvest these, put them in the basket, and then we'll head up to the greenhouse because I've got some interesting ones up there I want to show you too. I didn't harvest all of those actually, I just took some of the lovely honeycomb there. I've decided to leave the others in there because basically they're not quite ready yet and I want to do a taste test video at some point and I need them all to be ripe. Anyway, so we've still got a few things going on out here. As I said, I've got some potatoes still to harvest in those tubs. And I've got the celery to plant. This is looking a bit yellow, but I've given it some feed, so hopefully that'll pick up. Anyway, right, let's go and look at these in the greenhouse. Because, oh, this is the corn. Look, it's swift. It's almost up to the netting, so I've got to sort that out. I bought some more black pipe, so I've got to make some more hoops with that. There's so much to do. All good stuff, of course. Right, and in here we've still got lots and lots of the cherry falls coming. There are dozens of these. This is such a prolific plant. I'm enjoying growing these, but you've got to grow them off the ground, otherwise they'll just drape straight onto the ground. But yeah, I'm picking them when they're like this, so slightly underripe, and putting them indoors, and then they ripen up quite nicely. But this is the one I'm very excited about. This is a completely new one for me, and this is Uluru Ochre. I haven't grown this before. It's quite a cracking tomato, this. Look at the colours on it, quite extraordinary. So I want to try and harvest this without breaking anything off. Right, I'm just going to get a pair of scissors. Yeah, look, there you go. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful beefsteak tomato? Quite extraordinary. I'm going to let it ripen up indoors just a little bit longer, but there are plenty more coming on the plants here, quite prolific, so I'm quite pleased with them. This is supposed to have a really sort of nice sort of smoky flavour to it, so really excited about this. So put that down there for the minute. And then the others which are coming ripe, which are my all-time favourites, Alice's Dream. Just look at these, quite extraordinary. I don't know if I can, Yeah, look at that. That's almost bang on ripe, I would say. Quite extraordinary. A few more days maybe, just to ripen up a bit more. It's still a bit yellow, it should go a bit more orange. But isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful tomato. So they're rolling in, and I think we've got a couple more here, but I think I need to get a pair of scissors to get that off there perhaps. Oh no, there you go. Look at that one. Glorious. Such a pretty looking tomato. Extraordinary. Anyway, so exciting times. We've got some taste tests to do coming up. I look forward to doing those, but I'm going to harvest all these now, put them in the basket, and then I'll show you at the end. Right, there we have it. That's what we've got today. So we've got some beautiful Alice's Dream, Uluru Ochre, I've got some Cherry Falls and some Honeycomb Jack Off-White. So really pleased with that, and I think there's going to be a taste test video coming up soon if you're into those. I just want a couple more to ripen up in the polytunnel and get these to their optimum tastiness, and then we'll do a video like that. Anyway, that's been Chris at Veg Plot. Hope you have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.